It's so good. You know, it's just so great. It's grand, wonderful. Everybody on the bus. I'm already recording. Don't touch my shit, okay? Let me plug the light in. I'm what? You better fancy me up, dude. Better fancy my ass up.
Mooch better.
All right. Welcome back to another episode. This is the Dude Death Podcast.
That was intense. I like it. Glad we're back on a Friday. It's a beautiful weather day. Tomorrow's going to be like 82.
I know. What a nice day for lacrosse. 82. And you're wearing a V-neck or something. And you have a nice shirt on.
Trying to show little titties.
For Hims, I think.
Trying to show little titties.
Is that a for Hims? For her?
I think it's Express. Yeah.
Whoa. Guys, let's back it up a second because Jerry did say he was shopping at American Eagle lately, right?
No, that's where I buy my jeans from.
And now you're at Express. Are you having a midlife crisis? Are we? I go Express shirts. I go American Eagle pants. All right.
I wear what mommy buys me.
And then when it's time for shorts and sandals, dude, I'm right down to Old Navy.
Ooh, remember Structure?
Structure?
You remember that store?
No,
it was like a preppy
so.
store, like where you get your khakis and your collar pants.
I don't remember Structure.
No.
I remember I shopped only exclusively. Everything I ever bought or stole was at PacSun.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. So this week you missed out on Tracy's show.
Yeah. How was that?
It was great.
Yeah, the whole house threw up like at once. It was just like, all right, I guess you guys aren't going to school today.
Did you get it?
No, thank goodness.
Ellie?
She did not either.
No.
Okay. She said a couple of days before her belly had hurt and she had some diarrhea.
So maybe that was her.
Macon and Kenneth were like, we will now throw up. Macon, oh my God, he covered the bed twice. Just ruining the sheets, ruining the bed, the backrest. It's like, you're looking at it like.
You just throw it away.
It's like, yeah, some of it, yeah, because he's like, you're never getting that out. This is because he was drinking prune juice.
What?
Yeah, because he was having problems pooping.
Oh.
So like, it's like this dark brown. It's like, this is like, it's
gosh.
Ruined. And then you ever notice you look at something after it's been thrown up on, you say, how long have I had this? Maybe it's just time. You're like, this is old.
That's why sometimes I think the cleanup isn't even worth it. It's like, I can afford $20 for another set of sheets. Yeah. Just fucking throw it away. Yeah. I'm not going to rinse it and no.
That's America, baby.
Yeah, that is America.
That's America. That's where we're at. Fucking wasted, dude.
So,
so I couldn't make Tracy's show. Sorry, Tracy.
Yeah, she really just, she MC'd it. She had a couple minutes in the beginning. She was kind of like the in-between MC. So
she's a good MC. She's got control.
She really is, man. And she's such a great person.
Hey,
she was super
fucking cap, dude. You want that in the background?
Super excited to see us. The comedians were fucking hilarious. The guy Lil Mo, fucking hilarious.
What's a Mo?
I didn't realize I knew who he was. I just never know his name. I've come across him in like some reels.
Oh, he's in reels, not like you knew him.
No. I've seen his stuff before.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen his stuff before. How you doing?
Oh, that's right.
See?
He did the Italian.
Everybody knows that guy.
He does the stuff with those deli guys.
Yes. Yeah. He's done some stuff with them. Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, that's it. Nobody moved. Nobody gets hurt.
Yeah.
He had the best your sister joke I think I've ever heard. So simple. And he said, your sister dances for chicken cutlets. Like, what's that? Solve said it best. It's like, is there a worse insult than your sister dances for chicken cutlets? It's fucking amazing.
That's where the Italians rank chicken cutlets.
Dude, chicken cutlets are where it's at. One time this year, we were goose hunting. It was like the day after Thanksgiving, I think. Solve came with us, and he brings out a gallon Ziploc bag of cold chicken cutlets. And that's what we ate in the goose blind in the morning.
That's a Delco move.
Big time. We actually had coffee, brandy, alligator snack sticks, and chicken cutlets.
I brought some chicken cutlets. I got a baguette and some mayonnaise. You want to get it in there?
Oh shit! No, it was a good time. Got to chat with her a little bit after. I gave her shirt and hat.
Did you tell her that my family bombed?
Her and Noelle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. But we gave the tickets away to a fan.
Who were the fans?
Emily, I'm going to butcher her last name, so I'm not even going to try to say it.
My man.
Emily and her husband.
Oh. That's a great giveaway.
It was cool. And you know what was awesome is they got to sit with us at a table, so we got to know them, chat. They were really, really nice people, new to the area. Just
actual
moved here.
Listeners.
Allegedly. But no,
you should say, episode, no.
Yeah, start quizzing them. No, but super cool.
If not, hopefully they are now.
Yeah, for sure. They just moved to Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So,
well, that was a nice little
Yeah.
How did they find you?
Just through the Instagram post.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So they're following us.
She does follow us. Look, before I picked the winner, I wasn't going to pick somebody that didn't follow us. Yeah. So how long she has followed us?
That's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Whatever.
That's like saying you can only do stuff with your old followers. You know what I mean?
That's
not cool.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah. Fuck you guys anyway. Who's ever leaving, coming back and leaving.
Yeah. That was a good time though. Great time. However, you guys are. Oh, what the fuck?
Hey, you know what I say? It's every episode with this motherfucker in a phone. He don't even need it. He don't even need it, and it's sitting there. All right? You got fucking issues with this thing? Abandonment?
What did you do?
Don't try to change the subject.
No, we're changing the subject. We're keeping her moving.
You're fucking scaring my spam can.
Get a fucking...
Look at spam. He's worried. You know what I mean? He's getting fucking microplastics and fucking radiation poisoning over there.
You think that's still good? Is there an expiration date on this thing?
On spam?
Is there an expiration?
I mean, it's probably one of those ones that goes out like
10 years. Do you know how old this is? Could you say when you bought it?
Yeah, I bought that probably it would have been like 3, let's say almost 3 or 2 or 3.
2003?
Yeah, baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Not 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
2003?
No, 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It expires. It says Best Buy September 25.
Yeah.
So they don't last as long as I thought. I figure that'd be like a good
maybe they're getting 20 years. Less nitrate.
Or maybe it's maybe at Best Buy. It doesn't mean it's bad.
Make you spy more. Is that a thing? What?
Could be marketing. Could be more. Who's holding on to spam? Who preps with spam?
I have tried spam when I was super poor. No lie. When I was like, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to eat, right?
Not terrible.
It's like
fried
super
up,
salty. We try to make it work.
Yeah,
I do like that they it's kind of like trendy. You know, if you go to like a town, little hipsters like, give me the spam sandwich. I put that there because I like, as a marketing guy, I love the marketing of a spam.
Everybody knows spam.
I love the blue background with the yellow lettering. I love that you got the whole sandwich there.
I like that sandwich?
Yeah, I love first off, the can is cool, man.
Tomatoes, onion. Looks like mustard and cheese
it's really
on a bed of lettuce.
That's a spam burger, dude.
On a sesame seed bun.
Yeah.
McDonald's ain't got shit on that.
I just love the marketing on it. I think it's cool. I don't know. And I got this is Macon's, Egg McMuffin.
Yeah.
What do we call it? Bacon, egg, McMuffin.
And you got your hooded merganser decoy.
That's for you. I'll put that on your side.
That's nice. I like it. Anyway, how was your week? Besides puking in your house?
Yeah. That was okay. It was just It's been good. We've had a lot of matches. I got one more this week, so the kids have been okay. I did kind of, yell at them yesterday. I was like, hey, look, we had Sussex Central on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We beat them. Kids like, yeah. I'm like, take her easy, dude. I'm like, they sucked. Okay, like, don't be getting all hyped up. Because a lot of kids, they haven't played tennis all their life. There's no Pop Warner tennis that they were playing. So they're coming in so new.
Yeah,
and I was like, take her easy, cuz. I said, our next match against Cape is going to be a real eye-opener for you. Mm-hmm, and I sat there and said, and when we get to Cape, I said, look, guys, this is tennis. You have to do the little things right that I'm telling you to keep yourself in competition. Because in tennis, it's like, if you do like certain things, if that's all you're doing, you're fucking up one little simple thing, it will just get hammered at you. Because like the racket hits hard.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like it'd be like if you played basketball, or like we're all shooting threes, but if you hit the rim and you hit the backboard, you actually lose a point. You have to be very accurate. You have to have control of the ball.
Yeah, I got you.
But the guy's like, cool, you're gonna hit it near me, I'm just gonna slam it on you. So like, so they learned very quickly. I'm calling quick timeouts, and I'm like, hey, look, this is what the fuck I said, man. You need to hit cross court, skip away from the net, man.
Yeah.
You mean like my singles guys? Told you need to get a game plan right away and attack the weaknesses. Like, if you don't do those little things in tennis, you get punished so fast, and then you there's only so many points to be scored, so there's no Hail Mary at the end. So you just know at some point you're like, we can't come back.
Yeah.
So they were, and luckily some of them were actually upset, which I liked. That was good. They know, especially some of them that have been with me for a while, they look across the court and they know I want to like shake the fuck out of them. You know what I mean? Like some of their faces are like, all right. Well, I'm definitely fucking up right now because I'm just sitting there like a cold stare, and I'm like, everyone's like, hey, and I'm sitting there like,
what are you doing? Oh God.
And I'm just like this, like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? So hopefully now today, I'm going to tell you something weird about tennis.
Okay.
This is weird about sports, right? You would never go and saying you're going to lose, right? You don't give a speech like saying we're going to lose. We will lose today. Okay.
Ugh.
There is levels to tennis. You cannot go to another team who's very good and say, look, all we got to do is just work harder. We just got a couple trick plays. We take care of our moments. We just run faster. Yeah. None of that matters. So the guy's like, you know how much harder I can hit this ball at you.
I got you.
It's like, it's just like if the quarterbacks, it's like asking your lineman to throw a 5-yard out as well as your starting quarterback.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
You mean, it's like, yeah, he can throw the ball, but he can't throw like the first string quarterback. It's like, yeah, that's a big difference. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah, that makes sense.
There's nothing you're going to be able to do.
Sometimes you're just going to lose.
Sometimes you're going to lose. There's levels of tennis, and it's very punishing. And like, there's no like, there's no like, let me get back in the mode. It's like, soon as you hit the ball, all right, you're on one side of the court, and if that motherfucker is good and he can hit hard, it's like, cool, I'm just going to hit it to the other side very quickly. You're still over there. You have to now run to get this fucking ball that I'm going to smash. Yeah. So it's like,
it's so lopsided, like
it's very, So it's like, yes, today we will lose, but I pick a hard team outside of conferences so they can see what so they can play up and they can see what it really
I
looks
agree
like.
with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Tactic, if you want to call it. Yeah. Yesterday was a hard practice at lacrosse too. The kids were silly for some reason.
Fucking Macon,
dude. I don't understand. Macon was fine. He
was like one stick on a hand. He was looking right when the ball was going left. I'm like, come on, Macon, get in there.
The kids like making her new and really young.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me. The only thing that bothers me is when the kids that that know better are just like
why are you
not there?
Like, why are you bunching
up? What are
up?
you doing?
Let your boy work. Why are you competing with your own boy?
Like I told Jerry, like, why you probably heard me yell at him, call him a dummy.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's not great. I wouldn't call him a dummy.
But it's
Jerry understands. As a coach, that's not a good attack. You don't call him a dummy.
It's a joke, and Jerry knows when I'm joking.
Yeah, he sounded like he knew because he came over and complained to Mom. And was like, that's me.
He didn't. He even came over to laugh and apologize because he starts going after the kid on the same team. Hey, same team, dummy. Yeah. And after the play was over, he kind of walked over and he was laughing, and I put my hand on his head because I was kind of laughing too. And he was like, "Man, I'm sorry, I didn't even realize, I didn't even pay attention."
Yeah, they do compete against you.
But that's the thing. I don't know if you noticed. We wanted to see how like the older kids played together.
Yeah.
And just to kind of test it out. And they're so used to competing against each other that they're fighting for like top dog for some fucking reason.
We got everyone's a 5-star recruit out there, so and no one's playing together.
Yeah, so I'm glad we did it because then maybe they could see we told them lacrosse is not a game of who gets the ball, run to the goal. It's like play as a team, pass it, keep your head on a swivel, look, So it was a tough practice. Yeah, I think
it got chippy, which I liked.
Yeah,
I saw some chippiness. I was like, I like this.
I do too. And some of it, they're not allowed to do it at you, but I'd rather them do it because you can't put that in a kid.
I know.
I can't teach you to do that. I can't put that anger and aggression in you. So go ahead and do it, and we'll dial it back as the season goes on. Or when you get punished, we'll have a talk. But anyway,
speaking of being punished, you ever been punished by your friends for political reasons or any views and stuff?
Dude, it's so fucking wild to me. And it's not just that. It's so wild to me that it feels worse right now that so many people let the outside world, we just say matrix for lack of a better word, control them as a human being. Like why do things like politics or what you read on social media or what you hear about affect like a knuckle-to-knuckle relationship? What kind of weak human does that?
I don't know. I don't know how.
Is it strange to you too?
It's strange to me. I see it places. Especially during COVID, people that was probably one of the first starters of separation between families.
Yeah. Did it kind of start then? I think so. Okay, around that
because
that time.
then they were. The Trump mania was starting, and then we went to COVID with Biden, and then the families. That's the first thing I saw when I was doing work with people. It's like, well, I haven't talked to my sister because, she's not getting vaccinated. And now she's like, we told her we're not going to see her then. And I'm like, okay.
Dude, and let me be clear. So
it's just like, okay, well, take it easy.
I don't care. I really don't care what your political beliefs are, the sexual orientation, the race. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's just, how are you going to treat another human being? How are you going to? I'm fairly confident that if we had a disagreement across the table like this, you wouldn't act with the same chip on your shoulder as you do behind a keyboard. Yeah. Would you agree on that?
I'm going to go even further. I'm big on how you going to act when no one's looking,
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
What kind of decisions do you make when I'm not there?
Dude,
when no one's looking. Where's that character
There's so many weird things going on right now, and I just don't understand how – because these are all fleeting moments.
Yeah.
Right? The COVID bullshit didn't last forever.
Yeah.
Whoever the president is today or tomorrow is not going to be forever.
Yeah.
This social predicament is not going to be forever. It's all going to go away.
But the COVID shot that you took is going to be forever. You suckers.
but like this can be forever.
Yeah.
Right? Like our
thank you. I appreciate
our relationship as a fellow fucking human being, that's a real thing. That's not a fake shit. You know what I mean? So why would you let anything outside control how you are as a person or how you affect the relationship with your mom or your fucking aunt or your cousin or your friend?
I would think that people, let's start with a few things. Let's say maybe it starts at identity. Maybe people don't have somebody's making a strong decision and maybe the other one is going with the flow, but they have less identity and, as far as confidence in who they are. And the other one is a stronger partner in that relationship and they have strong identity. So do you feel like maybe it starts with like two sisters? Let's say it's two sisters. Mm-hmm. I think I saw that a lot because typically one of them was pregnant. That's what I saw a lot during COVID. Okay. So that's what I saw a lot when I was going to these places. Typically, the sisters were the ones not talking.
Really?
You know what I mean? Because one of them, I think there was a lot of babies during COVID. It seemed like everybody's fucking.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot between sisters. So if you have one sister that's pregnant now and one that's not, one doesn't understand momhood and what it's like to have a child that you're protecting. And then maybe one of them is a stronger identity, confident person. So the other ones, maybe the other person actually gets more angry to make up the difference of what she or he lacked in confidence about their own life.
Maybe.
Like, well, they're making the decisions like she always does, and then she's confident. Now she doesn't want to see us. That's how she's always been.
That's so
do you
weird
think it
to me.
starts like that, and then they start looking at their own selves like, well, am I doing the right thing? Am I just a sheep? Am I going with the flow? Why can't I make a decision like that for myself? Do you think that starts there? I'm only asking hypothetical questions.
Maybe.
That's just one thing I could think about, right? Because the identity would go into what side of something you would pick to then have a strong opinion about.
Yeah.
Because if you're dividing something, there's two sides, right?
Yeah.
So I would think it starts with who has a strong identity, who's going where with their identity.
Maybe.
Right? So then you have two low confidence, one high confidence, and then that's where the competition came in, right?
Could be.
Let's start there because I'll give you an example. Today, right? I drove by and right down the street, somebody, underneath their mailbox is probably a 2x2 piece of plywood that you can see they painted Trump on a while ago. Mm-hmm. And I drove by and go, what does make someone go out there and just paint that on the mailbox and put the plywood up? Like, what makes them? And I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying, what is the motivation? I like Trump, but I have nothing of his stuff.
But what's the motivation? What makes you go that extra step?
What makes you go like?
I don't know.
Now, I'm not saying you don't have the right to, but I'm like, you're like. Are you a person looking for a fight?
You just want a reaction.
Are you bored?
Yeah.
Do you want a reaction?
Do you
like to argue? Do you like that people don't like him? And then that's how you're going to pick a side. Like, what is the motivation to put
that's
side
where
on?
That's the
where
shit
does that start? Yeah,
I know, that's the questions I ask myself because I all I can do is look at me and say, well, like I'm too fucking busy. I have too much other shit to worry about than to take the time and effort to think that through, find a scrap piece of plywood, go paint that on there. Yeah. You're only doing it to like make somebody, you get a reaction.
Yeah.
It's the only reason. And I always tell people, like, if you're doing shit like that, you don't have enough problems.
Right.
You don't have enough problems in your life. You're creating them.
Yeah, because I go, I went to I would say a lot of snooty neighborhoods around here, and to do some work, and they always had the Kamala signs on their yard. I'm like, what's that about? You know, what's up with the snootiness? Do they think now? Do they think they're better than a Trump voter? I just want to see like
everybody does. Everybody thinks that,
and I'm thinking like this is where like this is just human nature. People think that they're better than someone, and maybe that's where maybe the friendship starts. Maybe somebody thought that they are smarter than you because of how you voted. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't know either. But
but who goes down that road?
When you whittle all that away, how are you going to let those stupid things, opinions, decide who you break bread with? You know what I mean?
Is it?
It's just so.
I don't know because we wouldn't do that. I have no idea.
I think that's the problem, right? Like I would never do that. I would never disassociate with someone at the drop of a hat because I found out that they like a different color than me, or they like a different meal than I do. It's the same fucking thing. Yeah, it's exactly the same thing.
Like, let me give you an example. Let me put a disclaimer out there. So, I never really talk too much politics with anybody, but if I ran into a friend who voted for Kamala, I honestly wouldn't understand why someone would have. And that's not because a Republican or Democrat. I just feels like as in many years in sales, I'm like, that one's a snake. Like you gotta kind of see that, right?
Right.
Like,
but does it really matter to that person though? If you were already friends with them, does it matter?
Yeah, it wouldn't matter. I'll just say like, I'm surprised they really can't tell like, that the person for Democrats, I'm like, she don't seem like she don't give a fuck. Like, what side? So I'm like, I'm not saying Democrat or Republican. I'm just saying like during this voting where people are so divided, I'm like, don't you want to vote for Trump? I'm like, kind of like this other lady. Like, I don't think you had a good person in there. Like, I don't think you had the right representative. So if I saw a friend like that, I wouldn't say, well, fuck, I can't believe you voted for her.
Right.
You know?
No.
Now being honest in the back of my mind going, I don't know why you would vote for her, but
does it really matter?
But that's not my problem.
Does it matter?
It's not my problem.
Yeah, I don't. And
at the end of the day,
and vice versa, right?
I'm not coming from because I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. I'm just saying like that one person, like that one. You sure? I don't. You know what I mean? Like, so I wouldn't hold that against somebody. Now, maybe weaker people who think the same thing I'm thinking part one can't move into part two.
I guess.
Why would you do that? I've always known you. I can't believe you would vote for somebody like that. Like, how do they get to that enraged part?
That's what bothers me. And whether it's
bring up a caller, fucking get somebody on the line. Jamie, get somebody on the line.
I don't. Well, that's the part, and it doesn't. To me, it could be politics. It could be local politics. Fucking school referendums, apparently.
Yeah.
Or to me, that is no fucking different than if like I don't like cheeseburgers and you do. Why would I stop being friends with you because you like cheeseburgers and I don't, or vice versa? It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Who cares? But like, if we go out and we hang out together and we could break bread or have a beer together or go fishing or share time with another human being in a real knuckle to knuckle relationship and everything's great, then that's real. That's real shit, right? That's what makes all of us better people, right? I'm not going to stop sharing what I have with you based on your preference in fucking food or your preference in a political party. See, I don't give a shit.
You were saying the word share, and I think that's probably where a lot of people lack. So I think I've watched a lot of people, if you hang out at the bar, someone starts one up and someone else goes this way. No one's ever sharing ideas. One person is trying to win a conversation. That's where like a lot of it goes wrong. Is someone who's
trying to win something.
Yeah, it's trying to win. Like they can't believe you can't understand them.
Yeah,
you're not trying to understand them. I watch it like you're not even trying to understand their side. No. And then one of them is trying to win trying to win a debate essentially.
Whatever it is
for whatever it is. And shout out to my brother Matt because this motherfucker used to do that. And I had to look at him one time. This motherfucker is the ultimate bear. He should be a fucking lawyer. You know what, Matt? I've always told you that. And then one time I had to go to him. I said, "Hey, man, you got to stop assuming people are smart." And that shit blew his mind up. He goes,
"That's a great way to look at it. Don't assume everybody's smart."
You battle dumbasses. I'm like, Matt, you got to stop assuming everybody's smart.
Yeah.
They can't even get past the things you're saying.
Yeah.
And also, you're a really smart guy. So at some point, even a smarter person's like, I don't even know. He's got great recall. He can go down all the history stuff.
Yeah.
He loves that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes people are battling somebody they can't even fathom. They don't even make good decisions in their own life, and maybe they're just not that smart.
But why? And also, why would you spend your free time, your downtime? Why would you waste it on fighting or arguing or disagreeing?
Maybe it's a misplaced passion.
I don't understand that.
Maybe they just don't know how to do it properly. You know why? Because there's no training. Nobody trained them.
I look at it as
no training.
I look at it as you don't have enough good shit in your life, and you don't have enough problems in your life.
And bad listeners.
Because, dude, if I'm going out somewhere, you want to use a bar example or any social situation, the last thing I want to do is talk about shit that stresses me out.
I got a beer in front of me.
What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing, man? Like, how about you take an opportunity and maybe you might meet your next best friend. You might meet your spouse. You might meet a fucking great associate of some degree, but you've too focused on because they have a fucking, certain affiliation, something or other sticker on their car or a shirt they're wearing. Like, who gives a shit? What are we doing?
Let's get to those motherfuckers.
What are we doing,
put
man?
it all over the car. Who's that guy? Who's that woman?
It's weird.
I could tell you who some of them are. I could tell you how many cats they probably own. You know what I mean? Like, dude, they're stereotyping.
Yeah.
Shit. Y'all see some bumper stickers? I'm like, I bet they got 4 pee pads right down in the mud. I bet they got 18 cats right now.
Their house smells like cat
There
pee.
is a certain genre that goes along with a certain thing. You know, you look at it like, all those bumper stickers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, all of them?
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I told you I did the I can't remember what it's fucking called. Judging a high school competition. I can't remember what it's called at Dover Downs or Bally's, whatever it's called now, a couple weeks ago, right? So you'd sit at a table with another judge. I didn't know this lady. Yeah. And kids would come in that would present their projects, and you would essentially.
And you don't remember any of those projects?
I can't remember what the organization was called. I remember the projects.
What was the projects? Details.
They had to. So this particular project that we were judging, they had to essentially present to us idea of how to have retail stores compete with like e-commerce. Okay. It's like dying retail brick and mortar stores. Their business is down. How are we going to raise our business and compete with e-commerce?
What's that? So it's the whole FBA, Future Business America,
something like that, right? Yeah. So anyway, the lady I was paired with, we were sitting next to each other in a little 8-foot table, 6-foot table for 3 fucking hours, right? So and we judged 4 or 5 teams. So it was a lot of time to communicate and talk, get to know each other. The whole time she would slide in these remarks and conversation starters that I could tell she was digging for like political affiliation shit. Like, oh, do you know this? And she would just the way she would say things, I could tell she wanted to try to get a reaction to see where my political affiliation was. And like, I'm not going to fucking do that. I'm not going to do. You're a nice lady, right? We're having great conversation. I don't give a fuck about anything, any of that. I don't care about your political affiliation. You're treating me like a good human, and I'm doing the same. So
let's not ruin it.
Why are you digging for this? So it makes you wonder, right? If I gave into it and I did something to, add some friction to the conversation.
Maybe it's how you look.
Where was she going to go? Like, what was your next move? If we're having a great conversation and then you dug in to where we got some friction based on political affiliation, what's your next move? Why does another fucking human do that? It doesn't make sense to me.
I could see it on the side of, I think people use politics and moments like that to make themselves seem smarter. To give themselves a little bit of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Je ne sais quoi, you know?
Jesus.
Whatever they lack, this is what they're going to hold on to. This is their moment. They're with another human at a judging thing, right? I want to let this guy with the tattoos and the camo hat and let him know I'm super smart. That's why I'm here judging these kids.
You know what I mean? Is there anybody out there that doesn't agree? Are we the weird ones?
Who gives a shit? Fuck all those avatars.
I don't, and I agree with you. And when we come across these moments, right, and like, I'm never going to be that person. I'm never going to be that person that just because we don't agree on something that does not fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Right? 4 years is going to change. Another 4 years is going to change. Another 2 weeks is going to change. Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? And I'll never understand those people. And it's like you have the conversations every once in a while with people that you're close with. Like, am I doing it wrong? Am I the weird one?
Yeah.
Should I only have certain friends? Also, I'll never believe that.
Also, you can't. To me, how deep can we really dive into something that we don't actually know? You know, how much do you hear people say something like, here's a good example. The regurgitation, right? First off, I know if you're a JRE listener, because I listen to almost every single one of his, and someone will start bringing up, hey, you know, did you know this? I'm like, they listen to JRE. They heard that bitch, but they ain't repeating it. Like, they acting like it's theirs.
Like they're the OG.
You know what I mean? Like they're the originator. Also,
that's gay.
Yeah. So also you hear the regurgitation of some surface level thing. Like, how much could you and I really talk about that when I don't know? Yeah. How much you and I going to talk about Hamas? I don't fucking know. What the hell do I know?
And we're in an information age that information comes to us so fast, right? A thing happens. Yeah. We get this much tiny bit of information quickly. Yeah. And then everybody jumps to it and attaches to it and just, this is it because I got this information first. Yeah. What happened just to being like, well, let's see how this plays out over the next days, weeks, months. And I'll just keep my mouth shut and I'll continue to learn about something. Yeah. That doesn't exist anymore. Everybody just wants to be the first, wants to know it. They grab onto it instead of thinking objectively.
They want to seem like they're smarter.
That's what I'm saying. We're going back to that.
They want to seem like they're smarter.
Maybe that's the thing.
Hey, doesn't everybody like to tell a secret because they got something? Yeah. Unless it's me, because I'm a fucking lockbox of this bitch.
I don't want to be smarter. I just want to learn more.
Everyone knows. I don't tell shit. Yeah. I mean, I ain't no narc.
The
friend group knows my ass. You know what I mean? And they know. I don't even give a fuck to hear it. Hey, did you hear? I would go. No. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
Have you ever been in situations where it's like,
some of my friends go, did you know? I'm like, are you supposed to tell me?
Yeah, don't tell me that.
Well, I mean, I'm like, I already, what's the name's already? I'm like, why are you telling me?
No, don't tell me that.
You telling me makes sure I know I can't tell you shit.
Exactly. Now I know what I can't say to you. Yeah, exactly.
No, so I think I will say this though. I will say this. We're going to go down a rabbit hole a little bit. I will say, leadership wise, the Democrats have shown a little crybaby-ish. They've gone it looks like they have not, I don't want to say played fairly. Like they're like very, very sore losers, and they're going extreme right now.
Everybody does that loses anymore. It doesn't matter. Everybody.
Here's what I think though. I think the political game it's gotten called out. It's gotten so dirty. Like it got evil, right? There was a little bit of evil. Everybody's working it. And now, everyone's like, how much?
Yeah.
Who?
And then we're panicking.
How evil did you guys get? Yeah. Whoa, back the fuck up. Let's take a look at it. So now together as America, I love that, with the Trump thing, it's like, hey, look, we need to uncover some shit.
Yeah.
The bureaucrat got bad. Yeah. It was always a little bit bad. Now it got real bad.
And that's always going to be a thing, one way or the other, right? But why does it trickle down? My problem is when it trickles down to us.
I think, so if you talk to Democrats, they're watching their own people go and try to shut down Trump. So that's what they think they got to do. We're going to shut down Trump.
So that means you got to shut down me?
I think so. Yeah. And meanwhile, while I'm staring, it's like, dude, they're trying to shut it down because those motherfuckers are profiting, right?
So do you think?
I think people, they still believe that people aren't evil.
Yeah.
It's like, hey man, first off, you can't be in a job that makes $100,000 and have $100 million in your bank account, brother. This is easy fucking news. Yeah. Come on, put it together, right?
Yeah, I'm not very good.
I'm not speaking for both sides. I'm just speaking for the times right now. Yeah. Because if you ask me what side I'm on, I'm saying I'm on America's side. Yeah. When I drive down the road and see someone flying an American flag, that one I get. I'm like, no way to put the time up for that one.
Yeah, and that's
I'm for the good. Where's the good?
And it's not going. They're not doing it just to get a reaction. For somebody. I don't understand that whole concept. Well, and I do truly believe that the majority of us little stupid humans that are just down here, working class Americans, normal people, let's just say that 80 to 90% of the population is like what you and I are talking about. Yeah. I think there's another 10 to 20% that's just loud bitch and moan crybabies that don't have enough problems. Yeah. They don't enjoy everything, right? And I'll never ever make one thing my fucking identity.
Look, I'm not going to out some people. I'm not going to say their names, but there is one person. I like him. I just don't talk to him. It's too much politics. Yeah. It's too much.
Yeah.
And it's always like, hey, man, how much do you actually know? You're regurgitating the news. Who's gotten caught so many times lying? It's like, why are you regurgitating? And why are you getting fired up to me? Why? It feels like I'm getting yelled at, like, we're good here.
Yeah. And it just, if you have time to get that fired up over something, wouldn't you rather spend that time, having fun with your friends or loving your kids or loving your wife or your husband Wouldn't you rather spend the time and energy doing those things? That's all my mind goes to. Is like, if I have this energy and time, I only have so much bandwidth. Why do I want to eat up the limited bandwidth that I have with shit that doesn't fucking matter?
Well, that's a double-edged sword because you know what? America, population, we do need to focus. That's why everybody was like, they don't even pay attention. How dumb can they? How stupid can they be? During COVID, we seen them like, oh, they're dumb. No one's paying attention to this bitch.
Yeah.
So that's why you got to pay attention to who we get in office, right?
I guess when it comes down to
we can't be everybody. We care. We don't care enough to pay them that much attention, but we should probably pay more attention.
Yeah. But when it comes down to something like if you have a good friend and then you lose that friend over something fucking stupid, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? Does it matter that much? You know what I mean?
It's like what's that friend going through?
Wouldn't you feel
that
dumb?
You lost?
Yeah. So listen,
no more text back. You've been silent. Okay.
No, you're 100% right. That's what I say too. Like there's got to be something bigger there, which is going back to what I said about a fleeting thing, a fleeting emotion or a situation. It's not going to last forever.
Yeah.
So at some day, weeks, months, years later, a person is going to look backwards and be like, I probably fucked that up.
Yeah.
In the big picture, the grand scheme of things, that really wasn't that important.
And that's a hard thing to get over later because, like, I'm not going to hold it against you, but also going down the road in the future, it's like,
probably not going to go to war with you.
It's like, you're not a foxhole guy anymore. Like,
nope.
You had a crazy weak moment or something stupid. Like, you're not a foxhole guy anymore.
And that's the thing. That's my big hang up is and this goes for anybody, you're going to be that weak that something outside of your family, outside of your four walls or your core people dictated how you treated other people around you. That's weak.
Now there was a learning moment about
sure.
about the tax, about if you own a lot of land. I'm like, I get that part. You know what?
There
honestly should be a cap. It's like, yo, how much land do you own locally?
100%.
Yo, we can't keep bumping you every couple of months for
100%.
I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
That makes
1,000%.
But you didn't even get that chance.
No, I never got that chance. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is. Maybe you didn't lose. I don't know. It's sad, isn't it? I was at the reunion. One of our friends there's two cousins in there that don't talk because they don't talk over political reasons.
Really?
Yeah. Two cousins in there.
Doesn't that kind of make you sad?
I mean, I would tell you between the two of them, I know one of them thinks they're smarter than the other, and I'm not surprised. You know what I mean?
You're onto something.
Strong men. One definitely thinks you're smarter than the other because he definitely thinks he's smarter than most, right?
That's a shitty
the
attitude.
Egos get in there.
Shitty attitude.
One can't believe the other one, and maybe it's not even the top politics. Maybe it's like you feel sad, like you feel let down by their choices that they would choose something like that. Because you're like, that's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
So dumb. But also, you just can't look at that. You got to just ask more and try not to get in that. Because, sometimes you're like, what the fuck were you thinking?
Do you think people misinterpret or place ego versus confidence? You think people don't know the difference in the two?
Yeah.
You know
sure,
what I mean?
They're not going to back down off a fight. They're not. If they think they're better than you, they're definitely not going to allow you any. They're not going to be a lot of bad listeners.
Yeah, like ego is not confidence, and confidence is not ego.
Confidence is cool, but if you're a real man, you would be a listener.
People get confused between those two. I think.
Well, especially with men who have high ego. Like if they're insecure, they'll front with a high ego, not confidence. Confidence comes from having done something and knowing you can do it again.
Yeah.
That's confidence. Ego is just putting up a wall.
Yeah.
I
think there's a lot of dudes out there.
Thinking about yourself first. Ego is you first. I think confidence is going, I've done that thing before. I know I can do it again because I've done it. I've walked through it.
Yeah. Or maybe I'm confident enough to say, like, I don't know everything. Let me learn some shit.
Yeah. But ego doesn't let you do that.
Tom he might be able to teach me some stuff through this chapter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys I think that essentially think they're confident, but they got too much ego.
Yeah.
And it drives every decision that they make, which just gets you into a fucking mess.
Yeah.
In the long run, nobody's ever.
You could tell right away with talking to somebody. So, I always tell Candace this, there's a ton of, sometimes she'll ask, like, why do you talk that much? I'm like, well, a lot of them don't. I find, especially big groups, people won't follow up on anything I say. That's how I know we're not everyone's moving with the ego or they want to be the person spewing. So I'll put something out there and it won't get rebutted on. It'll just be, don't go on to the next thing. I'll say something and they're on to the next thing. I'm like, they're not even interested in talking any of this.
Want to hear themselves talk.
To me, if you talk, you would stay on the subject and go down and kind of explore a little bit, then move on to something else. Not like they come up with their own idea right after you just said something like that. Why am I even talking? They're not even, you start listening, everyone's like talking mostly about themselves, right? They're talking a lot about them or they're talking about others. I'm like, why are you talking about people?
Do we need to ask more questions?
Yeah.
Listeners,
everyone's a bad listener. I just brought that up actually when last time we were in a friends group. I said, well, it's not my fault they're bad listeners.
Yeah.
Right in front of everybody, like, oh, really? I'm like, hey, you guys are bad listeners. I don't fucking know. Why am I talking bad listeners? I'm trying to tell you something. You ain't listening. You're on the next thing. Well, you know what I mean? If you want the answer, I will tell you, shut the fuck up, and I'll tell you the answer. Let me unravel. You have to ask questions if you want to know the answer.
Or let's figure it out together.
Yeah.
By asking questions.
Most people ain't listening.
Yeah.
I find that a lot, especially group think. That's a horrible thing. You learn that in business. Group think's terrible because people will then start going along. This is where the egos or confidence come in, or identities.
Yeah.
If you have a large group on a table, right? People that aren't that strong, they'll start going, oh, yeah, I believe that too. Yeah. And then someone else says something. It's just like some people you can see are just like, your buddies, they used to call chameleons. I'm like, that bitch is a chameleon. Oh, he's so good with her. I'm like, that bitch has been good with everybody. That motherfucker, he'll do anything. You knew people that like, they will just change. Their identity is their woman who's next to them, because they have no other way to know how to get pussy.
Yeah,
they'll just like whatever that woman like. Yeah, I'm in the emo now. Yeah, I've been in the emo. Yeah, that's my thing. I'm like this motherfucker.
I've seen that before.
But that's like identities at a big table, especially group things. Just when you get in politics, somebody's probably going with somebody else. Someone's probably not going with them. Someone doesn't know what to do. Yeah. People are just talking about themselves. Maybe someone doesn't get to talk much. I don't know. There's so many factors.
There is. And like maybe I am the weird one that I just want to spend, if I'm spending downtime with somebody, I just want it to be mindless. Yeah. And let's have fun. Let's tell stories. Let's tell jokes.
Let's go like this way. Let's go this way, because I don't talk much politics, but how do you talk politics?
I don't.
What is politics?
Yeah, I don't.
What do we talk? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think people maybe they're not trained enough or something. They don't look at it.
All I can think about is when I was a kid in the 80s, it was my parents always said, you don't talk politics with people. You don't talk politics and religion. You don't tell people who you voted for. I remember just being a dumb kid asking my mom, oh, who did you vote for? Like, I know there's a presidential election. Not that I give a fuck or knew anything about anybody. But she was like, well, that's for me to know, not you. Yeah. And that was her way of like teaching. You don't just go talk about who you voted for. You don't, and it's rude to ask someone else who you voted for. What happened to that? That was only 30 years ago.
That's people, I would think.
Because they want only to associate with someone that's just like them.
Or they're afraid, weird, because people can't talk. They don't talk politics. So they didn't try to solve it.
Yeah.
It'd be like a bad dad who just can't talk about the problems with their kids. We're not just going to talk about that. So you're not solving it. You ever go to people's houses when you're a kid? They're like, you watch a family that they don't talk about problems. Yeah. They just say, we don't talk about that here. I'm like, well, James, you're not solving it. So if you and I said, let's talk politics, I'd be okay with it. I'd say, okay, all I would look for is the truth, right?
I think that's different. I think politics and parenting is apples and oranges thing.
No, I'm saying,
I think it's a bad comparison.
Whatever, go fuck yourself. It's the same
because most people can't do that. I think you and I can. I think you and I can have a discussion.
Like I'm trying to say, if I was going to talk politics with you, I wouldn't look to debate you. And I think that's the difference. I'm not trying to debate somebody. I'm going to go, okay, what do you want to pick?
Look at
how much do you actually know about it? Because I don't. How much do I actually know about it? What do you think is the truth?
Well, how about let's whittle it down from politics to cooking, right?
Yeah.
You barbecue your brisket one way.
I have an ego. I don't fucking like your cooking.
Yeah, exactly. No. So I do it another way. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
You wrap your brisket. I don't wrap mine. You go high and fast, I go low and slow. And you're arguing that like your way is better. Why? I don't need to do that. Why? I want to eat brisket today, not tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I say, we're not going to sit here and argue. I'm going to.
We're not.
Yeah.
I'm going to somebody in Kansas City. You say, you know what? We don't Texas crutch around here, brother. Okay? You know why? Because that is an identity issue.
Yeah.
I can't say, well, I could live here and yeah, I'll do Texas crutch, whatever. I don't give a fuck about if you come up here. Yeah. People have that. That's the ego problem. If I got confidence, I'm like, I don't even care what I'm already confident in myself. I know myself.
Or like, hey,
you'll never be able to control me. That's probably the biggest thing. Is like you can't. I'm not letting people. We talk about outside people. I don't let outside people make decisions for me.
That's a great way to kind of like wrap this up full circle. Is like, are you willing to let other people or outside forces control your identity?
They're making decisions for you.
Yeah. So I hopefully people can think that way. Like you are, if you're doing this, if you're losing friends or family or getting into like extremely like pissed off arguments or fights to people, you're letting something or someone else control you.
Yeah.
Which is fucking weak.
Because if you're already confident in that issue or anything in their politics, you're already confident, you would be like, well, that's for me. I already know it for myself.
Yeah.
Why would I need you I don't need you to join me. No. I don't need to change you.
No.
Right. No. I don't need people to, I don't want to go. If I thought I knew more about something, I don't want to. I think people. That's probably the other thing. People use that as a time to seem smart. If I know something more about something than you do, this is my time to let you know how it actually goes because I'm smarter than you.
Yeah.
Because what do they got? An ego problem?
Yeah.
Less confidence? And I'd be on the other side of the bar like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Like
also, I know some shit, but I don't care to tell you.
Or like
if I thought you were a good listener.
Yeah.
Because then you're most likely you're not.
Yeah, and this is going deep into a conversation. A lot of things that maybe sound kind of crazy or whatever, but I think it hits home because it's something I just experienced.
Yeah.
With like someone that you were a really, really good real friend with.
Yeah.
And now not a friend anymore because of a disagreement on local politics.
Yeah.
And it's and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hurtful, right?
Yeah.
When you think about the grand scheme of it, the whole 5,000 foot view. You're like, fuck, that kind of sucks.
What was all that stuff before it? Like, what was all that?
Real normal shit, real good stuff, real like, hey, if our friendship is forged on everything but politics, our friendship's forged over real things, sharing family time, sharing all these experiences and real life shit that matters, that what I say, real life stuff that matters, and it was all washed away for something that didn't matter. And it's just, it's kind of hurtful when someone's a real friend, not an acquaintance, not someone you see in passing. You're just like, fuck, man, I didn't even I did nothing.
So what's the protocol from here? You take the high road, you reach out in 6 months and go.
No, man. I mean, like, look, if that's a choice someone makes, then that's what they make. You
don't want to reel back in someone that didn't want to be with you.
No, right? I mean, it's, and like, can I forgive? Yeah, absolutely. I would forgive someone. It doesn't, I would never hold that against someone.
But you're not going to make them like you.
No. Yeah. I mean, if you don't, I've always said about everything, business, friendships, relationships, like if you don't like me, then that's okay. You don't, you know what I mean? And if you don't, I'm confident that's your problem, not mine.
Yeah.
And, because I'm confident in myself enough.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going to cry and fight over it. It's that's your decision. I'm not going to force, if you don't like it, I'm not going to force you to do it.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
So I think that's why some of this stuff like hits home. You see it all the time, but then when it happens to you on a real level like that, like I just lost a fucking friend over something dumb.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy. It must happen a lot. Yeah. It must happen. So then you just kind of take a step back. Like I had the past couple of weeks and been like, does this shit really matter? I don't think it does. Yeah. The other stuff matters,
I think, and I don't think people think about the other person enough. They think about themselves too much.
Why aren't you asking questions?
Yeah, why aren't you asking questions to try to understand first before you make a decision?
And I have this conversation a lot with throughout the years, throughout my whole life, like about hunting, right? Some people don't understand hunting or don't like hunting, and that's fine. I always tell people, like, you don't have to like hunting. You don't have to do it. You don't have to want to do it. I always go back to the saying, there's always been hunters and gatherers, right?
Yeah.
If you're a gatherer, that's fine. There's something you can contribute to the village. But like, shouldn't you take the time to maybe understand why and what we do instead of just hating and telling me I'm wrong? Like maybe take a minute and learn about it.
And don't have that opinion while you eat cheeseburgers.
That's the biggest thing.
You better tell me you don't eat.
You can 100. Stephen Ranella said this. You can 100% like be against hunting and not want to do it. That's completely fine.
Yeah.
But if you're going to sit and eat a cheeseburger from somewhere, like just admit that you're a hypocrite. Just admit that you're okay with someone else doing your killing for you.
Yeah.
Say, oh, hey, I don't want to do it. I would rather you do it for me. Just admit that.
Because they don't make cheeseburgers. They don't grow cheeseburgers.
Dude, I tell people all the time.
They kill a steer.
Every burger, every chicken nugget, every hot wing you eat starts with the same thing, a knife and a gut pile. Right? Yeah. It all starts the same fucking spot.
Even you plant eaters. You know what I mean? They gotta murk they gotta murk the land first. They gotta get Monsanto out there. They gotta Roundup that we spray in the weeds in my millings. Dude, that's what's sprayed out of the plane right over your crops.
My man Ted Nugent,
right on all the rodents.
My man Ted Nugent has a good segment on that. I saw him speaking one time, and he said, if you want to kill the most animals, if you want to do the most destruction to the environment, be a vegan, because the shit that has to happen for you to eat soy, tofu, something or another is like these combines are killing deer, rabbits, grouse, they're killing everything. They're going to spray the pesticides. They're killing every fucking bug, every living organism on this giant hundreds, thousands of acres of soybeans. Yeah. They're destroying everything. So if you want to kill the most animals, then be a fucking vegan.
And also, have you driven by like a plant-based factory? It's a factory. It's smoking. It smells. It's like, hey,
smells disgusting.
You ever smell a flower? It don't smell like that. I mean, it's like,
no, man.
That's the thing. People don't want to. You ever talk to somebody like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Like, why would you not want to know?
You should know. Don't act blind.
One of the greatest things about being a hunter and killing your own food is that I know where it started and to where it ended.
It's everything
in between.
I think people
know it.
Don't understand. It's like, hey man, we don't go out there and shoot Bambi and then he turns into a cheeseburger. Like, hey, no, you have to take your son, teach him about life. You just took something. Yeah, hit a little prayer over it.
Mm-hmm. You know, I remember,
and then and then guess what? Then we gotta get a little weird and gut it.
Yeah,
we gotta get up in there and say, what's that? That's called a heart. That's what your heart looks like if you pulled it out. This is a stomach.
Yeah,
this is real. This is couldn't get any more real life.
And I'm so glad that my kids got to grow up that they don't know any different. Like. Yeah. My kids seeing, birds being cleaned on the tailgate, deer hanging in the backyard getting butchered, like that's normal to them. It's not weird at all, and like Charlotte doesn't really have an interest in hunting. She'll go and whatever. She doesn't, she hasn't shown like a huge interest like Jerry is. But it's still not weird to her. Yeah. She still is not like grossed out by it. It's just, and that's completely fine. At least she acknowledges that this is real. Pam, she didn't grow up in a hunting household. Nobody in her family, or not in her family, like her dad didn't hunt. She didn't grow up around that stuff.
Yeah.
Her and I first started dating, and she came over to my house one evening, and I had shot a deer. It was hanging in the garage, and I was going to butcher it. So she sat out in the garage with me, and she was like grossed out at first, like, oh my God, you're skinning this fucking deer, and it's like this thing hanging. And then over the course of like an hour or so, when I got to where it was sitting on a table, cleaned in steaks and roasts, and this pile was going to be burger, and the vacuum sealer's out, and you saw like something in there go like, oh, like now it looks yummy.
Now it's presentable.
Now it looks like, okay, I could eat that. I mean, and to see that little thing switch in her, going from like, oh, this is foreign and gross, right? Yeah. There's blood on the floor and all these things, to family-sized portions ready to go on a grill. The switch was pretty cool to see her kind of experience that.
While you're saying all that, I could think that to go along with that, people's view of stuff. We have a lot of neighborhoods here, so imagine like if you went to Jockey Hollow, right? And you, like most places, nice, good winter, go cold outside. You hang the deer outside. Mm-hmm. You let them hang for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. I could imagine somebody complaining, right, on some page, like, they're skinning a deer out back. And they're like, I can imagine them typing it while they're just eating chicken nuggets. That they just microwave, like, I can't believe that they got this deer out there. I got to look at and just like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, man, someone didn't murder and kill them. It's like, hey, man, what you're doing is more weird.
It's 100%. It's more weird.
People. Sure. Yeah, it just shows people just their disconnect.
Yeah, yeah. And
because life is so good, it's so easy,
and we're so it comes back to like ask questions. If you don't agree with someone, that's okay. You don't have to like everything everybody likes. But like maybe take a step back and ask a fucking question or two, because you might learn something. Don't be afraid to learn. Now I sound like I'm taking us out like you do. Don't be afraid to fucking learn something from somebody. And just because you have an opinion, you don't have to make that your identity. You don't have to live the rest of your life in that little parameter, that little tiny window, and make that your whole fucking identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are you the same person you were when you were 19? No, you're not. You've learned a lot.
Pretty confident then. I feel like I'm the same. Like back then, you say that, but like, I'm like, you know what, man? I was the same motherfucker that said, you know what? I make decisions for myself. Thank goodness.
Your standards, your values might be the same.
Yes.
But you've not the same person.
Yeah.
You've learned more, right?
Yeah.
You can go back and say 15, 17, 19-year-old Tom was dumb.
Yeah.
Right? He didn't have it all together.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't have it all together now, because now 70-year-old Tom will look back and be like, yeah, I learned a lot in the next 30, 40 years. You know what I'm saying?
Asking others and learning about others is really just learning about yourself.
It makes everybody better.
Makes everybody better.
God damn it, take us out,
and
Tom.
That's the view of today. Thank you for coming out to the Doodads podcast. We hope you get better. We hope you ask questions. Hope you look in the mirror and ask yourself some questions, because you're not better than anybody. You know what you need to do? You know what I mean? You need to get out there, maybe talk to the big guy. Get yourself a church, get a moral compass, and stop doing the bad stuff. If you can take care of yourself, ask questions, and make yourself feel better, you won't take out all your negative on someone else because you're frustrated with yourself. All right? And that's the man in the mirror. And when you do that, also turn around and go fuck yourself.